Hey, happy Tuesday, brothers and Cards family. It is so important that when we call ourselves Christians, that we represent Jesus well. The word Christian means to follow Christ. I was recently talking with some friends, and she works at a post office, and she was talking about how one of her bigger clients is from a church. And man, they just dread when this lady comes in. They talk about how rude she is every time and how she talks down to them and how frustrating that was to hear somebody coming from a church, claiming to be this righteous person and then to treat others so poorly. In this conversation, another friend jumps in. He used to work at a movie theater, and he said the worst nights at the movie theater were the nights when they would have the premieres of some of the new Christian movies. Because, the anticipation would be like, oh, tonight's going to be a tame crowd, and then the opposite would happen, and there would be people being rude to the staff, rude to other, guests at the theater, and it's just like, this is not what you say you are like. You say that you're a Christian and you claim to be like Jesus, but this is what we get in return. And stories like that, honestly, they just break my heart. Jesus told us that the most important commandments were to love God and love others. Those were the most important things that we can do as Christ followers. And, as I look to this week, as we are on our way this very second to the National, we have a long week coming up, I just want to remind myself that I want to represent Jesus well. I'm proud to call myself a Christian. I'm proud to follow Jesus. And I want to show others what that looks like by the way he told me to. Love God and love others. And we can choose to love God in a lot of different ways. When you're selling football cards, to be fair and honest, that's a big part of, loving God and representing him well. The language that you use. I'm going to do my best to make sure I have the best language I can this week. Both, just not cussing, but also just being positive and honoring God in that way. That's how I'm going to choose to love God this week at the Nationals. And then loving others, again, positive words, uplifting each other, talking to each other, being intentional with those relationships. That's how Jesus wants me to represent him, and I'm going to do my best to represent him like that this week. I encourage you to do the same.